WACK stands for Learner, Assessment, Community, and Knowledge. Assessment learning is all about guiding the student's learning process through the use of tests and other, assessments. Teachers use these to judge how a student is progressing in their learning. Obviously, all teachers use assessments.
Knowledge-based learning is using a student's previous knowledge to help build new learning. This is called scaffolding. Every teacher uses this type of knowledge-based learning.
And now for a brief history of the British colonization of India. The British East India Company had been given permission by the Mughal Emperor Jahangir in 1617 to trade in India. Gradually, their increasing influence led the de jure Mughal Emperor Farrukh Siyar to grant them dastaks, or permits, for duty-free trade in Bengal in 1717.
The Nawab of Bengal, Siraj-ud-Daulah, the de facto ruler of Bengal province, opposed British attempts to use these permits. This led to the Battle of Plassey in 1757, in which the army of the East India Trading Company, led by Robert Clive, defeated the Nawab's forces. Clive was appointed by the company as the first governor of Bengal in 1757.
After the Battle of Buxar in 1764, the company acquired the civil rights of administration in Bengal from the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. It marked the beginning of its formal rule, which was to engulf eventually most of India and extinguish the Mughal rule and dynasty itself in a century. The East India Company monopolized the trade of Bengal.
The first major movement against the British company's high-handed rule resulted in the Indian Rebellion of 1857, also known as the Indian Mutiny, or the Sepoy Mutiny, or the First War of Independence. After a year of turmoil and the reinforcement of the East Indian Company's troops with British soldiers, the company overcame the rebellion.
During the British Raj, famines in India, often attributed to failed government policies, were some of the worst ever recorded, including the Great Famine of 1876 to 78, in which 6.1 million to 10.3 million people died. And thus sums up our brief history of British colonization of India.
In this example, students already have a previous knowledge about some of Britain's colonial history and India's history. When teaching this information, the educator should focus on reminding the students of this knowledge and making connections between it and new information.
For instance, how does the colonization of India compare to that of America? How were the natives treated, and what was the outcome? How did British rule differ from Mughal rule? Assessments can be a variety of things. Typically, your assessment should be summative, so as to best judge whether the students have learned, and to best figure out what still needs reinforcing. For instance, set up a debate.
Can half the class justify the actions of the British at the time, providing significant examples of the benefits? Can the other half of the class provide arguments in the same vein? A debate is good because it allows the class to cooperate and provides a quick assessment, especially if one is needed midway through the unit. Of course, tests and papers are always good too.
In conclusion, we hope that this video has been an entertaining, if not informative, demonstration of how to use the assessment and knowledge components of WACK. Also, look at my hair. It's glorious.